going to talk about sales-led growth as part of the 30-day founder blueprint. This is week 4. We're getting close to the end. Yesterday, I talked to you about product-led growth, where your growth does most of the, your product does most of the work in helping you grow customers. It has referral loops built into it. It has features that people want. You use freemium models where people can experience the product and then they can upgrade to a paid model. That's product-led growth. Today, we're going to talk about sales-led growth. Sales-led growth is better suited to B2B sales, so business to business, and it's better suited to high ticket sales. Now, there's lots of gurus online. They're promoting to how you can land high ticket clients. That's all well and good. That's what I want you to do. You just got to be able to service high ticket clients. So that's a really important thing to note. These clients, they're very sophisticated. When you're selling high ticket cost products, most of the time you're selling to enterprise, big companies, and they're very sophisticated. They know what they're doing. And you have to be able to provide substantial long-term value to keep earning this high ticket deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the challenges. Then we're going to talk about a couple of strategies and how you can build trust and personalization into it, and a few techniques on closing. So first thing to understand with high ticket sales-led growth is there's a lot of competition. Okay, there are a lot of people out there selling, and they've been doing it longer than your venture has been. Either the founder themselves is a former salesperson, or they can afford very qualified, well-experienced salespeople, and they brought them in. So you're competing with a lot of other people that have a lot of expertise. There's also a bit of skepticism out in the market. So plenty of enterprise level people have been burnt by high-ticket products that don't really yield what they're promising. So if you're going to use a sales-led growth approach, you really need to be able to deliver that level of value. That's why product-led growth, PLG, we talked about yesterday, works well, because the risk associated with your customer making a purchase is $15 a month, $25 a month, $50 a month, less than $100 a month, something like that. The risk is low, but when someone's paying you $25,000 to one of the big 3 consulting firms for a pitch deck or a PowerPoint presentation on strategy, you better really be able to deliver that $25,000 worth of value, or you'll not get any other business after that. So make sure that you understand that there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of skepticism, and that negotiation happens a lot when there's sales-led growth. Okay, so with product-led growth, there's next to no negotiation. The price is listed, you pay it or you don't. Sales-led growth with enterprises, they're used to negotiating lower prices. As a matter of fact, they sometimes have departments called procurement or something else where that team's entire job is to negotiate a lower fee. So you need to be prepared to have multiple stakeholders you're going to have to deal with and to negotiate. A couple things to do with sales-led growth. It really is all about building relationships. That's why sales-led growth requires salespeople or the founders to be involved, or both. You have to understand the client's needs, and you need to position yourself as the solution to solve it. Because when they write this check, they're only writing this check to one person. With product-led growth, they may be buying multiple solutions and then testing them to see which one's better. With sales-led growth, they're just buying it one time because of the cost. So you better be able to deliver. Make sure you do your research, understand your client's pain points, be able to add value, and be sure you can demonstrate expertise. That's another problem I have with a lot of the gurus that are talking about sales-led growth and landing high-ticket customers. Okay, great. Maybe they can teach you a system to land a high-ticket customer. But if you don't have the expertise to deliver on what's being promised, you're in trouble. So be careful. There are lots of challenges. Okay, so trust is essential. Be transparent. Be reliable. Be responsive. All these different things. You need to be honest about what your solution can and can't do, and then follow through on the commitments. Another thing that's true about sales-led growth is you're often going to have to put some sort of contract in place for what you're delivering. Make sure you can deliver on those things, because when it's in a contract, it's legally binding. There's a couple of techniques that I think you can use with sales-led growth to improve your close ratio. These are things that I've seen in my experience, companies I've worked with, those types of things. Leverage storytelling. You should be able to tell a story. Storytelling builds credibility. In sales-led growth, a lot of people use case studies or success stories. So it's not just as simple as a testimonial, Testimonial is Jonathan says that this Notion product is great. That's a testimonial. A case study is a written document that, 10, 15 pages of how Jonathan uses Notion, how it improves his success, lots of research, and those types of things. So in sales-led growth, case studies are very, very, very popular. They help your customer visualize how the product could work for them. Value-based selling is a key technique. So you want to shift the focus from features that you're offering to the value and benefits. So instead of just easily create a to-do list in Notion. That's not what it does. It's something like, take everything out of your brain and log it to improve convenience for how you can just move on with your life, and the system can track it for you. That was a terrible example, but value-based selling is very, very important. It's not about the features. It's about what you bring to the table. Right? So if you have a budgeting software, let me try this again. If you have a budgeting software, it's not about building a budget for you. It's giving you peace of mind that you're not going to run out of money. That's value-based selling. There, did a little bit better job on that example. So the thing to remember is product-led growth is generally better for lower cost items, repeatable sales processes. Sales-led growth is for larger ticket items when you're selling B2B, enterprise level customers. The founder, if you're early stage, needs to be involved in the sales process. If you're not a good salesperson as a founder, you're going to struggle. It's okay to hire people, but in an early stage startup, you generally can't afford the level of talent that you're going to need. So sales-led growth does work, but it's generally more expensive. The sales cycle is longer with sales-led growth. Be ready for negotiation. It can work. It does work well in enterprise level sales, B2B, but just be aware of the challenges and the things that come with it. Contracts, negotiation, longer sales cycles, all these different things. It may not sound that appealing. I get it. That's why a lot of people do prefer product-led growth when they can do it. But for the right businesses, sales-led growth is the only way to do it. And it can be highly successful to land you those big ticket items.